In today's show, we have more RIA news from Helen from her animal prison.
We learn that some listeners still dream of me.
I offered lessons in Christmas football.
Sad news. Helen cheated with her exes. Joe cheated with his ex.
And we celebrate all the foreign players in football.
Stay tuned. I can't believe we're about to do a podcast and Joe has ordered fruit tea.
I heard that too.
Everything we know about Joe, and he said, "Can I have a fruit tea?"
You'll be allowed back into Bolton now.
Yeah. Are you?
Why do you think that's woke nonsense?
Yeah.
Can you explain yourself, Joe? Actually, don't.
I don't mind a fruit tea, It's not a tea, it's an infusion rather than a fruit tea, and it's just nice. And
I can't look at you the same. Let's start this show. Welcome to the world's number one podcast, the Soccer A to Z, the People's Podcast, saving football 1 week at a time, whilst helping society.
Damn right.
We are working our way through the alphabet from A to Z. Today's letter is X for Generation X. No idea what Generation X is. I think we might be them.
Punk band.
I think we are. I'm
they were a punk band,
Yeah.
Billy Idol.
You are as well, I think.
What? Are you
I'm
Generation
Gen X,
I don't know what the dates are. Strong team today. We've got Generation X Helen. We've got Joe. He's here. Helen's here. Robbie is here. Tubes is off because he's just had a
New
baby
dad.
girl. He's a new dad and he's getting his hands dirty in those nappies. It is X and it's a tough letter. So I've excuse me while I move the mic 1 second. So I have got a.
You've got props.
I've got myself a buzzer. So if anyone tries to sneak in an X, which isn't an X, like an EX, like X player or something. Okay, I've got a buzzer.
What are the implications of the buzzer? Is it just the buzzer noise that's the punishment?
It's just to point out that I've noted
Okay.
that it's not acceptable.
What
Because
is it, a 2 week ban? If you get a 2 week ban now, that means you're off for the rest of the season.
No, it's like the World Cup final. The yellows get rescinded as you get closer to it. I think, yeah.
Oh, right.
Anyway, let's get on with
funny.
the show. Let's see. I'm excited to find out what everyone's X's are because it's not easy, is it? Helen, how is the farm? Let's start with you. By the way, I've got a little bit of admin for Helen here. Chris says there's nobody with more natural charisma than Hell's Bells. Infectious energy, so cool. There you go. Helen sent that in to herself. No, that was sent in by Chris.
So thanks, Mum.
And Jay sent in, I've got a question for Helen. As she has RIAs, and they are from the ostrich family, and ostrich are quick, has she ever raced them? And if she wins, does she dispatch them like she done with Michael Owen? So for anyone who's just tuned in, Helen raced Michael Owen once in his prime, beat him, and made him retire.
Not in his prime. And I was wearing a skirt.
She was wearing skirt and heels. And
Oh
she beat
no,
Michael Owen.
no, they weren't. They were just. I had boots on. They weren't really heels, but yeah.
Sorry, you beat Michael Owen in normal shoes, not even trainers.
No, I wasn't wearing trainers. I was wearing some slouch boots. I think.
See, I think we need to get
Right,
Michael Owen on to confirm because I'm just like.
What was he on? Stilts or something?
Yeah, no, he
He had
was
his track
wearing
spikes on.
So have you ever raced your RIA or your RIAs?
Not raced, but I've chased them when I've been trying to round them up. They're very weird creatures. They don't go to bed. And they're fox-proof at about 10, 11 months. They're big enough that the foxes leave them alone. So up until then, you have to put them away at night. And they just don't. They don't learn. Every night, it's like a surprise. And you're herding them, and they drop their shoulder, and they just chuff off. And so I've chased them to try and get them back. But you can't. No, they're fast. They're quick.
Sounds like they'd be great out on the wing.
Yeah.
Just a quick
Drop the
drop of the
shoulder.
shoulder, and then they just chuff off.
Flag stayed down.
Yeah.
5 yards away.
Like Pat Nevin in his prime.
For fun, do they run around, or is that just
Yes.
to protect them? They do.
They do. They get the crazies, and they'll something could set them off. my neighbour brought his dog round one day for a run round my field, and it set them all off because they were all having the crazies. But the thing is they're the stupidest creatures ever. They try to kill themselves in any manner possible. So they'll just throw themselves at fences or gates or what have you. I had one strangle itself once. It put its head through, so I've got stock fencing all around the place, and it put its head through one hole of the stock fencing and tried to get it back through a different hole. Panicked, struggled, strangled itself.
Are they trying to kill themselves because they've seen what happens to other animals and they want to go on their own terms?
They're ridiculous creatures, but I love them.
Why don't they fly? What evolutionary advantage is there by them not flying and by them running around?
Well, they're fox-proof.
They're fox-proof for 9 months, yeah. But what's
do you know
they're big enough? They're big enough not to get eaten, so they're like, we don't need to fly away from foxes. We're fox-proof at 11 months.
Yeah, but there's not foxes where they come from. Don't they come from South America or somewhere, Africa or something?
I don't know.
Yeah, so where there's bigger predators, like things like that. But their defense mechanism is incredible. They will throw themselves backwards and drum their legs at you, and their legs are as thick as my arm, and their talons on their 3-clawed feet will rip your throat right open.
I took my twins round to Helen's animal prison once, and the Rheas started attacking the three of us, and Helen said
they don't attack.
You said it's because we had shiny. My twins had shiny things. You said they like shiny things.
They're always looking for food. So if you go into their area, no, if you've got buttons or little studs on your jeans or something, or buttons, they'll look at them and they'll just try them. They'll just give them a little peck. Is that food? So they're not attacking you. They're just looking for food.
It's a bit like sharks in the ocean. They're not attacking you. They're just having a little try.
Just have a little peck off one of your legs.
But you asked why they don't fly. Can you imagine the size of an emu? Can you imagine one of those things flying around?
Just get bigger wings. Have you seen the size of a vulture? They're huge. Eagles are big as well. By the way, I put that shark tracker on my phone once. Do you remember that? There was this thing where you could track sharks and see where they go. And do you know what?
I don't know. It's somewhere in the sea.
Well, they put things on them to see where they go.
Did it turn up at your house?
No, but it turns out that sharks go where the hell they want to go. So they go everywhere. They come right up to the coast of Britain all the time. They go into the cold waters, but they like it in the warm waters, obviously. But they'll come up in the summer. They'll come to their hollybobs to the British Isles.
I'm sorry. How can you track sharks throughout the ocean when I can't get even 3G on Newmarket Road in Norwich?
Wow, that's Norwich for you. That's Norwich for you. Have you got any farm news, Helen, or should we move on?
Well, I mean, I thought there's a lot of farm news. My turkey hen has gone really strange. She's started flirting, but not with the turkey stag. She started flirting with Pete. She goes and sits next to him, makes turkey noises.
Pete's Helen's boyfriend, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know. Yeah.
And then the turkey stag will turn up, like, what are you doing? And then she went off and started fighting with a football. She's gone
Weird.
Robbie, I have footage. I have footage of her fighting with a football. I'll send it to you.
Put it on your social media. Robbie, what's your news? What have you been up to?
I went to Peterborough to film a YouTube video.
The posh,
indeed. Yep. Didn't go to the football ground. Just looked at other stuff.
All right. What did you find there?
The grave of Catherine of Aragon.
Good place for a holiday?
I wouldn't do a fortnight. But long weekend maybe there. Try and time it with when
What's
Rail
the beach
World.
Like?
There is actually a little waterfront by the river.
Is there?
Neen. It was pretty good. I'm actually going somewhere that is nicer at the weekend, but not for good reasons. I'm going to Barcelona to run the marathon.
Barcelona. Do you think you'll win?
I don't think so, because after I get to about 16 miles, I'm going to be sick.
Right.
So,
have you done any training?
I've done some training, but I've not done enough long runs.
Why do you keep running marathons? What are you running away from, Robbie?
Because I think that I will do enough training each time.
And you don't?
It's always
too
been
busy influencing.
It's a bit of that, and also the problem with doing a spring marathon is you've got to train in the winter, And it's not just the cold weather, but you tend to get ill. So there's a few weeks I've missed when I've been ill.
Yeah, okay.
So it's...
And what
it's
are you
not gonna be
doing it
great.
as, a Roman centurion?
I'm doing it as a middle-aged man in shorts and a T-shirt.
Is this the one where they throw the bull in for good measure?
I hope so.
Okay.
Put me out of misery.
That'll get you
Dispatch me.
quicker. That'll get you there quicker.
Yeah.
Helen?
I'd like to completely do a rewind and ask Robbie, what does the grave of Catherine of Aragon look like?
It's in the Peterborough Cathedral, which is a very nice cathedral.
Right.
Didn't even know it had a cathedral. They've also got, I think they've got Mary Queen of Scots in there as well. Maybe there's a couple of big name graves. So respect.
Yeah.
If you're into graves.
Who did Catherine of Aragon? What does she know?
She was
as a-
married to Henry VIII, wasn't
Yeah,
she?
she's Queen of England. Everyone was married to Henry VIII back in the day.
Yeah, we've all done a
How
shift.
did she die?
Hang on.
Do the thing.
I can't remember. I don't know.
No.
Don't know.
Beheaded?
She did die though. She's in
Dispatched? Was she dispatched?
Yeah, she got put in the
Henry
dispatcher.
Henry VIII is dispatcher.
He had a big dispatch machine
Yeah.
for his wives.
I've seen the musical Six as well, so I should know.
You should know that, yeah. Joe, Graham Moore has messaged us to say, can't remember the Red Hot Chili Peppers one, talking about the sketches we did on Soccer
Right.
AM, but I remember Joe and Fenners coming out dressed as strippers, Chippendale dancers. They tied Tim to a seat whilst they stripped for him. It cut off to a Tescard parody just before they ripped their last piece of clothing off. Do you remember that?
Nope.
Nope, not
No recollection of
Wow.
that whatsoever.
It sort of brings back a memory
No.
of you two
Yeah.
dancing with me or something.
It feels like it would have happened, but I can't remember it particularly.
Sounds like a bit of production went into it.
Yeah, it did.
For once.
We did
I
make an
like the
effort.
idea we cut to the test card as you ripped your trousers
Yeah,
off.
don't remember that
Joe,
at all.
happy birthday.
Cheers, you're only about 5 days late, but
Yeah.
no, not to worry.
What
Well,
did
if you
you
don't do a
do?
podcast on your birthday, we can't really.
What did you do
say
for it?
It was last Thursday, so just went to Oxford, had a couple of slurps on the river.
Nice.
Very
Oh, it
nice.
was a lovely day.
It was a nice
sunny.
day. Yeah, it was good. It was nice. What else have we done? Went to the pub quiz Sunday night.
How'd you
Did
get
you
on?
win?
Nah, I didn't even make the podium. But it was a good question. Who is the only Dutchman to have won the European Footballer of the Year / Ballon d'Or?
Cruyff.
No.
You
Van
think, yeah.
Basten.
Correct, Marco van Basten.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's one of the only ones I got right.
Should we do some admin?
Yeah.
Andy says, not really a question, but did the gang watch the Champions League programme on BBC One Wednesday night? Quote, after PSG v Liverpool, football is unfair. You need to copyright that, guys. I don't think we can copyright that. People have been saying football's unfair for years, haven't they? It is unfair, really unfair. Kramer, the ex-service dog, that's his Twitter handle or Insta handle. I can trump your U2 gig. I'd seen them at the Astoria. You'd seen them
At a little venue called Wembley Stadium.
Wembley Stadium for the
Zoo TV tour.
Yeah. So that's how many albums in is that? Only a couple.
No, that would have been just after African Baby, probably after Zeropa actually. So
Right. Okay.
maybe
So it's
5
a
or
lot-
6.
Oh, really? Okay.
Maybe more. Yeah,
Good U2. Are you a big U2 fan?
I do like you too.
Do you?
I feel really sorry for Bono because he does
Why?
everything he's supposed to do, and everyone hammers him all the time.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? He's always.
Yeah.
The band have never broken up. It's always the same people. He's been with the same woman all his life.
But don't people hammer anyone who's successful? Isn't that the
Yeah,
same
but it's
with
Bono.
anyone?
They gave away the
Yeah.
album for free, and everyone's like, "You put this on my iPod. I hate you."
Oh, you can't delete it
You
though.
can't get
you
rid of it.
can't
Yeah.
get
You
rid
can
of it.
now.
You
It's
have
the first thing that comes
Can
on.
you? Yeah. Yeah, I'm annoyed about that.
See what I mean? It's everyone. He does everything he's supposed to do, and he just gets hammered.
Kramer, the ex-service dog, says, I can trump your U2 gig. Salford University, a support act to the Fire Engines, a Scottish band, in 1980. Have you heard of the Fire Engines?
No,
I haven't.
I'm sure there's
Go
a
on.
joke in
Yeah,
there.
there is somewhere.
Yeah.
Come on, let's just silence on the podcast for a minute whilst we all think of a pun with fire engines. Something about a hose.
Yeah.
Something about hose. Something about.
Hang on, was it in Scotland? Was it in Scotland? Did you say?
No, it was in
So it's got-
Salford University.
Oh, because I was thinking it's got to be something
Scottish
Yeah.
band.
Scotch.
Kill. We'll come back to that
Something
one.
about being put out.
Put out.
That's a good-
Yeah.
It's a good shout.
Yeah. Yes.
Welcome.
Drones and More says if Tubes gets married, Golf World should pay for the photos, not Hello Magazine. Hello Magazine. We'll put that to Tubes.
There was a vote on who was the best Scottish band around that time, and Fire Engines were bottom of the poll.
Hey! He's
Ooh,
done
well
it.
done,
He's
Joe.
done it. Well done, Joe.
Or top of the poll, whichever way you want to.
We've got some questions coming in from our readers, which we will answer on Friday. I will whet your appetite. Andrew, is Forest's 1980 achievements better than Leicester City's recent successes? Ooh, that is interesting. Wes says, we all know that Helen left Michael Owen for dust, but out of the team, in a flat 50-metre sprint, who wins or who comes second behind Helen? We will answer that one on Friday. Perry says, which of the soccer A to Z gang would make a good football manager? And Daniel says, if you were given the opportunity to do a one-off show to commemorate 30 years since Soccer M started, under my reign, that's next year, by the way, with all the original gang, would you do it? We'll answer all those on Friday for you. Okay, Helen, have you got some X's from our listeners and viewers? By the way, if they're not a proper X, they're getting one of those. They're getting a buzzer.
All right, then. The first one is from Sarah Relton. Says, my ex, watching on YouTube has reignited my crush on Sheephead.
Ooh.
Back in the day, I had some excellent dreams featuring Dreamboat Joe. Like a fine wine, he's aged well. Still the funniest person, and I still find him hot. So my ex is the X-rated dreams I had about Sheephead.
Whoa! Hello. Hello. Can I just give it one of these?
Doesn't invalid.
Savvy Emily picking that one.
Wow.
right, Dreamboat.
Joe.
Who's that from?
Sarah Relton, S-E-R-A. I hope I'm saying that right. Sarah.
Oh, interesting.
Sarah.
Any
Yeah.
others? Or is
Yeah,
that
Tom Lester, X-ray vision, when a player will see what appears to be an unplayable
yeah.
pass. Your players
That's
like
good.
Ozil and De Bruyne
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And also those long passes that end up on the end of the toe of the forward, and vice versa when the forward the run exactly right for the where the pass will land.
Glenn Hoddle? Glenn Hoddle.
I could put it on a sixpence.
And he hit it with backspin. So the player, I remember him
A little
talking.
7-iron into the green.
I remember him talking about it on a TV show once. So the striker or the winger could run onto it. There you go. So he's got to be.
Beckham was pretty good passing the ball.
DH says X-rated challenges.
Yep.
Now, I like this one. Rob Knowles says pundits who say that teams are missing that X factor. Now, the X factor is a special quality that can't be described. So if the pundits can't describe it, then they don't actually know what's missing. Ergo, what Tim said, no one knows anything about football,
No one
even
does
those that are
anything
paid
about
to talk
football.
about it.
Yeah. Who predicted Liverpool this year? No one.
Ross T89 says XI. So your best 11.
Best 11.
Everybody gets asked your best 11. And that's the fans' X's this week.
Is that the most pointless discussion when they do combined 11s or who's the best 11s or something like that? Who's the best all-time Chelsea 11? It's so impossible to answer. So,
It's just talking point, isn't it?
just talking fun.
Pub talking points.
Yeah.
Expected goals, woke nonsense.
Oh, yeah.
DW Swinfen says Xbox console gaming. I suppose that became massive, didn't it, with FIFA? And Shan Vizram says X used to define a player on a tactics board. It's pretty good, right? Put the X's on but don't they use magnetic ones?
Yeah, they're little magnetic counters.
Magnetics, yeah. Who won last week? I wonder. Someone's sitting with a crown on.
I think that would be me, Tim, with Wembley.
Like these. Wembley. Okay, I'm ready with the buzzer. What is your X?
My X is the festive time of year known as Xmas.
Yeah, you can have that.
Ooh, yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I think we're all. I think that's a good one. Clever.
Thank you.
Clever, Robbie Knox.
I would like to talk about football in the UK at Christmas time because it's very unique. We're quite unique in that we have games around the Christmas period.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It is indeed. But why do we have games around Christmas and no one else does? Well, the FA was created in 1863, but festive football goes back to 1170, where they used to have games just around there. But it was hard.
Sorry,
did they play like local games? So they wouldn't have to
games there all the
there was
time.
no football. Football started in 1880 or something.
No, but there was like more casual versions of it.
Yeah, it started in 1992-93 season.
No, they would have like games where they kicked medieval football and stuff. They called it. Well, now they call it. They probably didn't at the time.
Yeah,
where they used to have big kickabouts with loads of.
Oh yeah, wasn't it like bladder ball or something? Because obviously the ball would have been
they just threw them.
Pig's
they
bladder.
kicked balls around, probably. But it was actually hard fought workers' rights that have made festive football popular. The 1871 Bank Holidays Act made Boxing Day public holiday, and then clubs were quick to put on games because it was the days where people weren't at work, so they could get massive crowds for their matches. It also helped.
Hadn't been invented, so there was nothing to do, was there? No phones or anything like that.
Yeah.
Also, people's houses.
Trivial pursuits, had they?
No, not by that stage. No.
Another good factor that helped Boxing Day football become good was that people's houses were rubbish in the olden days and overcrowded, so they wanted to go outside because their houses weren't great. Yeah. So they're like, oh, there's just loads of people here. Let's go outside.
You can stand on a terrace with 90,000 other people.
Yeah, and get warm.
In Victorian times, football was played on Christmas Day and again on Boxing Day. In fact, in 1913, Liverpool beat Man City 4-2 at home on Christmas Day, then lost 1-0 away to Man City on Boxing Day, then drew 3-3 at home to Blackburn the next day. So 3 games in 3 days. Which makes
they've been moaning about fixture congestion, wouldn't they?
Really been punchline there, Joe. But yep, essentially that would have made Jurgen Klopp moaning about fixture congestion woke nonsense these days because it was much worse in the olden days. The last Christmas Day game in England took place in 1965 when Blackpool beat Blackburn 4-2 at Bloomfield Road in their Satsuma coloured kit. And then Scotland kept Christmas Day football until 1976. Northern Ireland is the only place that hasn't gone woke and still has the Steels of Sun Cup final on Christmas Day to this day. Most of Europe has a 2-week break at Christmas, but Italy has recently joined us and introduced Boxing Day games in 2017. I thank you.
That is good.
That was good. That was good, Robbie. I enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Do you know what? I love Christmas football.
I think it's great.
I don't think we can ever get rid of that. I think as the fans, we pay the cash with our season tickets or subscription fees. I think we should,
especially now that there's just fixture kickoff times all over the place that you can put on the telly at any given point over Christmas.
Such a great
and there'll be a game on.
Yeah.
Forest will be playing Villa at like 7 o'clock on when at Boxing Day night or something.
I think I might have told this on the podcast before, but I will repeat myself. I went to Dubai once in January. I think it was December or January anyway. It was Christmas break for most teams, and Ajax were playing Inter Milan in Dubai. So what's the point in that?
Yeah.
It was a friendly. You know, I went and watched it. It was good for me because I was on holiday.
Yeah.
However, I want to see Chelsea play at Christmas, don't you?
So they're obviously playing these games to keep themselves match fit during the midwinter break. Why don't they just carry on going?
Yes.
And just
so it's us who have got it right over here, and everybody else has got it wrong.
I suspect they're also playing the games for money, as well as keep match fit.
Yeah,
probably more so for money.
Do you think that's why they're out there? I think
that's why they've gone to Dubai.
But there was no one there. The ground was half empty. I literally walked up and just went, I'll have a ticket, and went in. It was like, it's not that. I don't
How
think
much was it?
Sold out.
£3,000.
Do you know what? I don't know. I can't remember.
Who was it? Ajax against Inter Milan?
Yeah.
Not a bad game, that.
It was, yeah. It was really good. I couldn't believe it. I was on holiday and I just sort of read that this game was going on. I thought I'd wander down there, see if I can get in. It was great. I'll tell you what, it's getting cold in here. You feeling it?
Isn't it? I was going to say that.
You're feeling that temperature drop.
Yeah.
It's temperature drop. It can only mean one thing, can't it?
He's running down the left, he's running down the right, he's running down the left, he's running down the right. Cole Palmer is dynamite. It's Cold Palmer.
Yeah, it's cold. Cold Palmer's here, but he's cold. He's so cold, he's turned into Cold Palmer. He grabs for a scarf, but whose scarf is it? It has a shield on the badge. There is what looks like to be a sun on the shield. I'm losing confidence in this.
Portsmouth.
No. There is a cross on the shield.
Is it what?
A cross.
Rotherham.
A cross and a sun.
The cross is being held.
No.
The cross has a flag on it too. The cross is being held.
Preston.
The cross is being held by a baby sheep or a lamb.
It is. It's Preston.
There are two letters, P and P. The nickname on the scarf is the Lily Whites. The scarf is blue and white, or white and blue, really. It is Preston North End. Well done, Joe.
Thanks, Preston Snot.
Preston North End. North End. Who are their rivals? The West Lancashire Derby.
Blackpool.
Blackpool, Bolton,
Which
anyone
one?
around there, really.
Which one
Blackpool.
is it? Blackpool, it is. Helen's right, yeah. It's the West Lancashire Derby, it's called. There you go. Who wants to go next? Helen, do you want to go next?
My ex is xylophone.
That's good.
Didn't
That's
get
an
the-
X.
yeah.
That's an X.
Yeah.
Didn't get the bzzz. Yeah.
There have been many xylophones in football,
Have there?
Where?
mainly at Wembley with the band of the Coldstream Guards.
Oh,
Or-
very good. Very good.
Or so I thought until I looked it up. I did my due diligence until I looked it up and found, in fact, those are glockenspiels.
What's the difference?
Xylophones are
The
wooden.
difference is it doesn't count for this week's game.
Glockenspiels are wooden.
No, a xylophone is wooden. Glockenspiels are they're metal. So
Oh.
in summary, xylophones are metal plates or tubes.
Right.
So you've learnt something.
We have learnt something, but you're not going to win, are you, with that? That's
My
absolute nonsense.
ex is X-rays. Do you remember the day that the national newspaper?
Whoa, hold on.
Hang on.
Hang on.
Going to have to take your first answer on the
Boo. She's broken the show. You're rubbish. Get off.
I don't.
No, go on. Give her
Go
a
on.
chance. Everyone deserves a second chance.
Yeah.
X-rays.
X-rays.
Do you remember the day that the national newspapers put on their front pages?
Oh, what, Beckham's metatarsal.
There you go. The X-ray of David Beckham's foot. The England captain broke a bone in his foot while playing for Manchester United against Joe.
Don't know.
I
Is it
want you to.
2002?
Is it Bolton? 'Cause you
Yes.
said Joe.
Was it Bolton?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Bolton. The reason I said Joe was because he broke it against Deportivo La Coruna, and I wanted you to say it.
Ah.
Deportivo.
Yeah. Like you used to. The entire country was worried that he would miss the start of the 2002 World Cup, but he didn't. So that was good. He lost to Brazil. And then it happened again in 2006. The whole country held their breath while waiting for the results of a scan on
Rooney.
Wayne Rooney's metatarsals, with one newspaper headlining, "Cometh the hour, cometh the scan." Now, I tried looking for photos of Wayne's X-ray on the front pages of the paper on the internet, but I gave up in the end because Colleen Rooney had posted a picture of her broken foot bone X-ray during the fisticuffs with Rebecca Vardy over that thing that happened, when Rebecca Vardy then went on to accuse Colleen of milking it. when Colleen showed up at court with a big boot on her foot. And then I started looking at all that nonsense again for about half an hour, and then I couldn't be bothered. X-rays, the end.
Well, I think that's good. However, was Beckham's X-ray on the front of the papers, or was it his foot? I think it might have been his foot and not his X-rays.
When we all asked to pray for
Helen knows the answer to that, doesn't she? Look at her face.
Look at she's smiling.
A cheeky face.
Because I remember his foot being there and everyone having to pray on it. Don't there? Wasn't
to do some praying?
Who was behind that? Uri Geller again, probably, or someone, or the son got us all to pray on it.
It was on the front of one of the papers.
Oh, okay.
The X-ray.
It's a very loose X, isn't it?
It is.
Mind you, it's X. It's a tough letter.
It is.
It's a tough place to go, X.
It is.
Oh, hello.
The Wayne Rooney incident. I went to David Beckham's World Cup party. Ooh, check me out one time. And he was there with a thing on his he was crutches and one of those boots on his foot. Yeah.
He really shouldn't have been dancing on the dance floor, should he?
You shouldn't know. I'm just gonna leave it there. But do you know who turned up for that? Have I said this before? James Brown and Robbie Williams were both playing that day.
I don't know if you mentioned here.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I got to see James Brown.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Hardest working man in show business.
Yeah, really. He was amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, that's a good X. Should we do before we get on to Joe? I'm really excited about Joe's, whatever that is. Should we do some stat chat? Stat chat. I can't find my stat chat. Hold on. Stat chat here. Stat chat. Steve says Liverpool have beaten the reigning champions of England, Germany, France and Spain this season without conceding a single goal. Smash and grab.
That's good.
Unbelievable game, that.
Smash and grab.
Yeah, the ultimate smash and grab.
That was brilliant, wasn't it? That's why football's brilliant.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was great. Right. Tongham92 says Haaland has only failed to score against one English team in which he's played. Who is that? It's Plymouth, I'll tell you. Dale says, after you spoke about Chester in the latest episode, it reminded me of an unfortunate stat chat. Oxford United legend James Constable ended his youth career on 106 goals, one goal shy of equaling top goal scorer Graham Atkinson, brother of Ron, who got 107. However, in 2009, Beano, as he was called by the fans, scored a hat-trick against the aforementioned Chester City in a 4-0 victory. Unfortunately, the Seals were expelled from the football conference later that season, and these goals were discounted from the records as the results were expunged. What does expunged mean?
Wiped off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Deleted.
As a result, he ended his career short of becoming the club's record goal scorer, despite scoring 109 goals in total.
Oh,
that is stat
kick
chat.
in the teeth.
Right, they're strong so far. Actually, are they strong? Robbie's winning by miles, isn't he, at the moment?
What did you do, Robbie?
Xmas.
Yeah.
But I've got a good feeling about Joe. Joe, what have you gone for? Oh, I've got to pick up the buzzer as he's looking at me.
I'm going to pick up the crown.
Yeah.
He's done a bit of groundwork towards this.
No. This week, I've taken a bit of creative license with my X this week. And there is actually an X in it. So this week I'm going to go for taxi.
That begins with a T, Joe.
Yeah, but it's got an X in it. 1 in 4 letters. One out, as Meatloaf said, 1 out of 4 ain't bad.
25% of that word is an X.
Yeah. So it's got an X in it. So it qualifies.
Not really.
It's come through the qualification round.
Helen, I'll be fuming if you give this to Joe, because that has started with an X. Anyway, carry on with your
but taxi, obviously, as we all know, was one of the it was like one of the holy trinity of items, wasn't it? You had taxi, nutmeg files, and showboat, which were on
Third
Third Eyes as well. Yeah.
And Hassan Kashlow's kick-off of the week.
Yeah, that was temporary. That was fleeting. That came and went. But your podium, it was had Taxi on it, didn't it?
Definitely, every week.
You'd have Andy Harris walking around the office going, "Who's our taxi? Who's our taxi? Who's our taxi?" I mean, if you'd been like watching the football over the weekend and you saw a clear taxi, you'd be like, "Oh yes, get it,
got it.
There's our taxi. Take the rest of the week off." So like you knew you'd got it.
Who did the voiceover for the taxi for the player's name?
Andy did it originally, and then Fennis took over. Taxi for Schmeichel, or whatever it turned out.
But I think Andy did the taxis filmed in front of a live studio.
That was the same voiceover for forever, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Taxis filmed in front of a live studio, stadium audience.
The theme tune to Taxi,
Did you find that when you were watching football on Soccer M, when we were working on Soccer M, that you weren't actually watching the game?
No.
You spent all the time watching the crowd.
Looking at stuff.
It's a curse that I've only just kind of shaken off, that I don't watch football anymore, where I'm just looking at the crowd. Or for someone spilling a drink on themselves behind the goal.
Do you think everyone does that though? Because as soon as the advertising hoardings start moving or something, I'm drawn to those in case there's a third eye there.
Yeah.
You know, everything going on. If someone's on the ball in the penalty area, I'm looking at the guys at the back just to make sure, see if they. But I still do that. I still do it. Do you think everyone's doing that, or do you think everybody else is just focused on the ball and the player?
No, I think everyone's watching the game rather than that. I think that's just where our training kicks in.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. If someone doesn't, I'll just still shout at the telly, nutmeg or meg nuts or whatever.
Yeah, Helen, do you do it?
I'm a bit of a ball watcher though as well. The person next to me will be going, "Cool, their number 7's good," and I'll go, "I don't know," because I'm watching the ball. I'm terrible for ball watching.
Right. Do you prefer football filmed? I'm going off a bit of a tangent here, Joe, off your Taxi, but do you prefer it filmed the Spanish way or the British way? Because the Spanish way is higher and wider, the way they film it, isn't it? You get a lot more of the pitch and the ball in. The players are smaller. They show you more of the play. In Britain, we go a lot tighter. Which do you prefer?
I think I prefer the Spanish way, because I find when I watch a football match in person, I watch in a very different way to TV, because you're much more aware of
your
people on the
peripheral
pitch.
vision is so much wider.
You're much more aware of the tactics, I think, if you're watching it
I wonder
why
we film ours tighter than the Spanish. Do you think it's to do with the stadiums?
Possibly. I mean,
tighter stadiums or something years ago.
Yes, where the gantry is, I guess.
Maybe the Spanish stadiums, there's more ones without a roof on or something, and so they could put them higher or something. I don't know. But it is different, isn't it, the way it's filmed?
No, I've never really noticed it.
You haven't?
No.
Oh, my days, Joe. You'd lose just for that. Of course you must see. They shoot it really wide. Which do you prefer, Helen?
I like watching it, but I think if that became the norm, and if another country's football adopted our way, I'd like that. I think it's because we don't see it every week that you go, wow, that's great.
During the pandemic, did you watch football with crowd noises on or without?
I've started off without, and then I found it to be the most boring thing I've ever seen in my entire life, and had to watch it with. I was going, oh my God, this is absolutely awful.
Joe?
Yeah, I had to watch it with the crowd noise on because, frankly, I was appalled by some of the language I was hearing.
Helen?
I can't remember. I think probably. What was the default? Did you have to seek out the crowd noise, or did it just come on? Did you have to turn it on or turn it off?
Do you know what? I can't remember, but I did exactly what Robbie did. I started with it off, going, this is good. You actually hear the players shouting at each other, and then go, oh, Christ, this is boring now, because you need a bit of crowd noise, proving once again how important the fans are, which is why the fans should get paid too. By every time the match is on telly, that everyone should. Yeah. Anyone who's turned up should get a $5 for turning up.
But Torquay, would there be a difference turning on the crowd noise?
Shut your face. Shut your face. I probably left it off then. If you had to switch it on, I probably left it off. But
the fans could go on strike by remaining silent through the game, couldn't they?
What, like they do at Arsenal?
Voting with their larynxes.
Socialist heroes at Arsenal.
Remember the shrieking woman?
Yeah. Wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be good if fans could actually get themselves together to actually do something like as a total? Because I know like that they were protesting at United the other day, Man United. But wouldn't it be great if a whole stadium could go, right, we're just not going to make any noise this whole game.
Yeah, and pin drop.
Until you're like, blah, 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 or until you give us some money back or something.
Imagine it when they scored. Everyone would be like...
Well, one of the...
Player power, fan power.
One of the greatest fan power things was when Brighton and Hove Albion were on their absolute backsides. And I remember their Archer and Belotti, that was the two guys that were in charge, and they had a fans' day. And I went, and you wore your colours as well. And I was just walking to the ground, and there was a Sheffield Wednesday and a Sheffield United fan walking towards the ground together with their shirts on. There were fans from, I reckon, every club in England that went to the game, probably some Scottish ones as well, that went to the game just to show their support to Brighton and Hove Albion because of what was happening at their club. And then I felt really bad because that put Brighton... And they didn't get relegated. And then Hereford went down for the last game of the season. And I just thought, Hereford didn't get any support at all, just went down. And Brighton had this little resurgence at the end of the season and stayed up. It was a remarkable game to go to.
I'll tell you a fan story.
Absolutely packed.
I was on the way to Stamford Bridge one day, and they were putting out flyers. And Ken Bates had said that we're putting the prices up temporarily. I can't say the word, because we had to pay for the stand, which had made us nearly go bankrupt. So we were having to pay more money. Okay, so as we went in, everyone had to pay more money. They never put it down. We always paid more than everybody else. Then when Mr. Bates decided to sell up to Roman, did we get a refund? Did we get our bit? Did we get our cut for keeping the club alive? No, we didn't. No. What was your answer? I
thought you would have done. Yeah, I thought they'd have given you money back with interest.
Ken took all our money. We'd kept the club afloat.
I expected better from Ken Bates.
He's gone down in my estimation.
Oh, that's really made me laugh because I've met him a handful of times. All right, do you want to do Peter Selby guess the goal?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it. Okay.
Peter Selby guess the goal.
The centre forward controls the ball just to the left of centre, inside his own half, shrugs off a defender and runs powerfully forward towards the centre circle, skipping past a slide challenge, centre of the centre circle, across comes another defender, he moves the ball quickly out of his feet to the right and accelerates past him. The defender comes back for more, he shrugs him off and runs powerfully forward a full 70 yards to the edge of the penalty area, 25 yards out, just to the right of centre, spots the goalkeeper on the edge of the 6-yard box and a right foot delicate chip over the goalkeeper, it bounces on the goal line into the back of the net and it's a stunning solo goal. He runs away towards the left corner flag in front of the away fans, sticks his arms out in front of him and shrugs his shoulders to say that was easy. A full 70 yards mazy dribble from the centre point of his own half, shrugging off defenders, skipping past slide tackles and then from 25 yards out just to the right of centre, edge of the D, a deft right-footed chip over the goalkeeper who's on the edge of his 6-yard box. The ball bounces on the goal line and it's a stunning solo goal to remember.
Joe hasn't got it, I can tell.
No, I haven't.
It's very old. 92. Helen? I didn't get it, by the way. I was nowhere near getting this.
My problem is I always think when it's about halfway through, I think I know what this is, and then as I'm thinking of what it is, I've then not listened to the next bit. So I've gone.
Yeah.
I thought did you think it was Michael Owen, France 98?
By the way, this is Peter Selby doing the commentary. He's a descriptive commentator for the Partially Sighted. Shall I tell you?
Yeah, because I'm not...
It's Dalian Atkinson against Wimbledon, that individual goal where he took everybody on.
Oh, yeah.
Let's have a listen to what it sounds like.
Dalian Atkinson controls the ball, centre point of his own half and moves forward, skipping past one, shrugs off another in the centre of the centre circle. Across comes a defender, he's skipped past him, he's gone a full 40, 50 yards. Another defender comes across, he's beaten him, he's gone 70 yards, Dalian Atkinson, edge of the penalty area, he's chipped the goalkeeper and scores a wonderful goal!
You can see it, can't you?
Yeah. It was a wonderful goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was brilliant.
There you go. Right, so who have we got now? Just clever Tim Lovejoy left.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, I think I've won this week.
I'm not going to take the hat off just in case.
I cannot see how I can't win this. My X is for xenophobia. Xenophobia is the fear or dislike of anything that is perceived as being foreign or strange. There was a time when many people did not want foreigners to play football over here. I can think of a couple of very high-profile people, but I won't name them as that's childish, and shaming culture is not productive and it's not cool. It's bad vibes. And they also might have changed their mind because it's been such a success over here. One of the arguments that people had about the foreigners coming over, it would kill the English players. And it's a fair argument, I think, absolutely fair argument. I think we should be able to have that discussion. But in fact, history has proven completely the other way around. Do you not think that the English player has so improved because of the foreign influence over here? Robbie, you seem to be Googling something to
I'm just going to bring something to support, but it's good to carry on.
But I'm going to tell you some facts. So I think, are we all agreed that the foreign influence in the game has been good?
Yes, and exciting as well. Exciting players coming over. Look how excited we were to talk to Zola the other week because we loved him.
Well, I bored everyone with this before, but when Ruud Gullit turned up at Chelsea, I couldn't believe it because I've been watching a Football Italia and what was that called? On
Gazzetta Football Italia.
That's it.
It's totally reinvigorated the game.
It's been unbelievable. But when Kusanov played for City on the 25th of January 2025, Uzbekistan became the 126th of the 211 FIFA-affiliated nations to play in the Premier League.
So how many still have not been represented?
Yeah, there's still
80 odd, is that?
211 minus 126, yeah, 80 odd. So the countries like Thailand still haven't done it, I noticed. And
City had a Thai owner, didn't they? I can't think of any Thai players, but
yeah,
Sunawatra or something was his name, wasn't it?
62 nationalities have been represented in the 24-25 season. Now, I'm going to run through, since this is the Premier League, by the way, because obviously in the first division it wasn't as prolific, there wasn't as many foreigners. I'll explain why in a minute. But English players to have played in the Premier League is 1,723. Who's next nationality, would you say? And by the way, home countries are not are included as foreign. So you're going Scotland. You're wrong.
Wow.
France.
It is France, yeah.
Oh, France, right.
238. Scotland next with 217. Republic of Ireland, 208. Spain, 169. Netherlands, 154. Wales, 134. Then Brazil. See, I'd have gone Italy or something. Brazil with 122 players have come from Brazil to play. In 1888, just throwing this in, they're not really about foreign players, but in 1888, players had to be born within 6 miles of the club's ground or have lived there for 2 years if they wanted to represent the team. So you couldn't have some fella turning up from Bolton playing for Chelsea unless he'd lived in the town for 2 years. Because Can
you imagine going back to that now? If all of a sudden next season they went, right, going to start again and go back to that.
It'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
But Helen,
really
you do every now and then meet people who have just got into football, who've not, it's completely passed them by, and they're an adult, and they go, why aren't all the Chelsea players from Chelsea? You do have people do have that. So 100 odd years ago, that's what people used to think. A ruling by the European Community in February 1978 determined that a player's nationality could not affect their ability to move to any given country. So the Football League AGM that summer duly lifted the effective ban on foreign players. 10th of July 1978 was a momentous day in the history of English football as Tottenham Hotspurs announced the signing of who? 2 players.
What date? Sorry.
Yes, Ozzy Ardiles and Ricky Villa.
Oh.
And it was momentous, and that's when the xenophobia started, where people started going, hold on a second, we want this. I did a lot of research on this yesterday, and as I say, I don't want to call out any of the people because there was so many articles written about how it might kill our game. You get it, right? And I don't, there was very high profile people going, this is wrong, it need to be English players. In 1992 there were 11 foreign players on the rosters of the 22 clubs. So when the Premier League started, there were 11 foreign players, right? Before the Bosman, there were quotas of only 3 players plus 2 more if they'd gone through the academy. Okay, you were only allowed. This was Europe doing this, by the way, in Champions League, whatever it's called back then. Was it Champions League? It was Champions League, wasn't it? So you only allowed 3 and plus 2 more. And because the home countries were regarded as foreign, Schmeichel was replaced by Gary Walsh against Barcelona. Do you remember that? As Fergie wanted to play his 5 foreigners on the pitch, who were Kanchelskis, Irwin, Keane, Giggs and Hughes. Okay, the first non-English team ever.
What?
First non-English team to ever
Liverpool.
play. Liverpool, 1986. First totally foreign team, though, was Chelsea, Gianluca Vialli in 1999, Boxing Day, travelling to Southampton. That is xenophobia for you. And just to summarise, I understand why there was so much debate about the foreign player coming over here. I understand the debate about foreign mercenaries at the end of their career. However, I think it's been proven that it's been a very beneficial thing to our game. You look at the likes of Cole Palmer, get in there, and Phil Foden, etc., even Rooney and all that lot have all benefited from being around the foreign pro. And even the foreign managers coming in like Pep Guardiola, Jose Mourinho have all add a little bit of magic and sparkle to our game. And I think it's been a positive.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's not bad that this week. Yeah, still don't think you'll win, but it wasn't bad.
At least it was an X.
It's globalised the English game, hasn't it?
It's made us the best league in the world, because it used to be the Italian one when we were kids, wasn't it?
It used to be such a novelty, wasn't there, when a foreign player came over? Do you remember when Mirandinha came over?
Yeah.
Do you know how many caps Mirandinha had for Brazil?
No,
not
none.
many.
4.
And
And everyone's like, oh my God, this guy is coming over. Because
he
he's
wasn't
Brazilian.
great, was he?
No, he was just
I suppose we could play the little game of the thing that I said was ridiculous with the 11s, but we could we say who our favourite foreigners, not including Scotland, Wales and Ireland, our favourite ever foreigner, or not our favourite, the best one that's ever been in the Premier League.
In the Prem.
Bergkamp, Cantona.
Yeah, JJ Kocher.
So good they named him twice.
Rory Joker.
Zola I'd probably go for, but
Bergkamp.
Yeah, Bergkamp.
I tell you, I loved Alan Boksic when he came over. He was mint at Middlesbrough.
Don't you think?
Sasha Churchich.
Do you not think it would have to be Cantona? Even though I'm a Chelsea fan, do you not think he was so influential? All right, let's do the other one. Who is the foreigner that you would have loved to have seen over here? I can answer that immediately. Zizou, Zinedine Zidane. I'd love to have seen him in the Premier League, and I think he would have been the best one ever because he had everything in his game, and he was tough, and he headbutts people in the final. So he would have been all right in the game. Anyone else?
Would have just been brilliant, him seeing him at places like Oakwell.
Are you talking about people who were playing in the Premier League era?
Yeah.
So you can't have like Maradona or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it'd have to be Messi, wouldn't it?
Messi
or Zidane, but I'd like Zidane. Any others?
I always thought it'd be absolutely amazing to see Zlatan in the Premier League, and then he was.
Yeah.
And then
and he was decent.
Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
Ronaldinho would have been great. Any of those, Rivaldo.
Yeah.
Ronaldinho.
Carlos.
Yeah. Hristo Stoichkov, I always loved at Barcelona. Romario. They'd have all been great, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Imagine any of them watching Romario at Hillsborough or something. Brilliant.
Anyway, that was xenophobia, and it's worth going back if you can be bothered to look up the history of foreign footballers coming over to this country, because there's so many headlines with very high profile people saying it's going to ruin the game. You get it, but Cloughy said that putting too much football on TV will ruin the game, but it just enhanced it in the end. I mean, maybe there is too much on TV, who knows? But I think it promotes it, and it was good marketing. So, clever people can be wrong with their thought processes. But I think I've won. But just before Helen gives me that crown, I'd take that off if I was you, Robbie, because I think it's coming onto my head for the first time. There's only 2 more shows after this one. I think I've only gone and done it. Helen, what is what's wrong with football this week?
what's wrong with football. The Shellstagram says referees, just get rid of them. They're ruining the game.
Self-policing.
I love that.
System.
That's a great idea. Yeah, you go out with your mates and play. You don't get a referee, do you? You just do it. Just have a. It's like, the problem with voting is the government always gets in and they're rubbish, aren't they? It's the same with referees. Whichever one you get is rubbish.
Tocker says players with their first names on the backs of their shirts, like Virgil, instead of their full name, and also names and numbers in weird fonts. Yeah, the arrogance of just having your first name on your shirt.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird fonts creeping in, like Job Bellingham at Sunderland. I mean, I get why he doesn't want to have Bellingham on the back of his shirt, so he's got Job, hasn't he? But yeah, weird fonts. Very odd.
I don't mind them. I've got to say, I'm all for that, and I don't mind people if they want to call themselves by their first name. It's all entertainment, isn't it?
Yeah, as long as you can identify them.
Griff says Wilfred Zaha being crowned after his debut at Charlotte FC in the MLS. I saw this clip and I thought it was brilliant.
We have to describe it, don't we? They put a gown on him and a crown, and then they walk him up the stand and sit him on a throne, and then what would you say? Smoke and fireworks. That basically it.
Absolutely ridiculous nonsense, but he just did it. He didn't look, because sometimes footballers look really embarrassed at things that they have to do. He just sat there, I'm in this chair with my crown. I just thought he took all of that in his stride, and I was cringing. And then by the end of it, I went, nah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
I like it. I think footballers are too uptight now. Do you remember the olden days when when England would play Mexico, so they'd dress up Steve McMahon in a sombrero or something like that, and he used to just do anything, footballers.
I'm old enough to remember them dressing. Didn't they dress Toshak and Keegan as Batman and Robin years ago? I made that up. Maybe that's only Fours and Horses. It's one or the other.
Yeah, I think they would just go. They just fed up a footballer and go, Chris Waddle, you're playing against
so and so.
France. Can you get some garlic on as a necklace? Okay, they go, yeah, no problem.
We're going to stick you on a bike with some onions around your neck.
Some onions around your neck, and a stripy t-shirt.
Baguette.
I remember seeing Brian Robson as a matador.
Yeah.
I think he had a rose in his teeth.
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
Remember when he signed for Middlesbrough as a player manager, and he had like I think it was like a sort of shirt and tie and a blazer on, and his shorts and his socks and his boots for the photo shoot.
Any more, Helen, before we do woke nonsense?
Ab Davis, normal people using the term dogso, denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunities. Bad enough when the referees and VAR say it's no place for it.
Yeah, dogso, yeah. I've seen that.
I've heard of it.
Oh, yeah. It's people are using it now. Yeah, it's I don't get it either. I don't intent. That annoys me as well. Intent, It's like, why you've either done a bad tackle or you haven't, Intent. I was about to go off on one then about laws of the country, but I've decided not to. If that's all right, I'm just
Everything's got to be black and white, hasn't it? Football's becoming a science, so everything has to be black and white.
Black and white.
So you have to have these boundaries and parameters and whatnot.
Woke nonsense. Wayne Brown says FIFA President Gianni Infantino has confirmed next year's World Cup final will have a halftime show.
Halftime entertainment.
This will be the main What's Wrong with Football this week and utter woke nonsense. We will discuss that on the Friday show, no doubt. Tune in for that. Matthew says players taking off their runners-up medal as soon as they're presented with it. Woke nonsense. Pedro says calling two defensive midfielders double pivot. Absolute woke nonsense. Yeah. Joe texted me about that during the week.
Yeah.
You were watching a match, weren't you, where they talked about it. Alan says woke TV kickoff time, 7 p.m. Sunday evening. Woke off. I quite like that. I think we're going to have to start using woke off.
Yeah.
Danny McBride says celebration being called limbs. Woke nonsense.
No.
You like that?
Yeah, limbs is all right. Yeah.
I think that's woke nonsense too.
No, okay,
that's it. Helen, have I won at last? Got to all the way. It took me all the way to get to X to win, and it took me xenophobia, a bit of research. I think I'm proud of myself, though. It's been a long wait, but
I commend you for the amount of research that you did. You brought notes, and that was good. The problem was, Tim, it started off good, and then it sort of drifted in the middle, and then you brought it back all right. But
drifted with what bit? When I told you France were the second most represented team in the Premier League. Is that the bit where it drifted? No,
I can't remember the bit that drifted off because I drifted off. So
the bit where I talked about 1978 and Spurs signing Ardiles and Villa. Was it that bit?
No, that was right.
The bit where I had to? Was it the bit where I had talked about Barcelona? When United were playing Barcelona and he had to drop Peter Schmeichel for Gary Walsh.
Is
it that bit?
Probably because I don't remember that bit. So probably. Yeah,
was it the bit where I talked about Liverpool being the first non-English team in the cup final in '86? Or was it a bit about
Chelsea?
To
witness this, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah.
Who won then? Who won?
Robbie retains the crown.
You're absolutely killing me. I hate this show. We'll be back on Friday with questions and quiz. See them. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
I came second with Taxi. Not even next.
Woke off all of you.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to watch last week's great episode. Click